the busy mom of five, snacks are a very frequent occurrence here in our household, and today I want to share with you some of our favorite summer snacks. These are chock full of fresh fruits and veggies and deliciousness, and so I hope that gives you some inspiration in your kitchen today. So to start off with here, I have a bowl of fresh peaches. It is peach season here in PA, and so that is always one of my favorites. But I actually need some frozen for a recipe later, but I am just peeling these, cutting them, we'll slice them and pop them on a tray to freeze. Okay, let's get started with our first actual snack here. So I have a loaf of fresh milled bread. You want to see the bread? Look, yummy bread that we baked last evening, and then some toppings. Now this is definitely the biggest snack of today, I would say. It's not hot, but it is sharp, so we can't play with it. Okay, but we are a family living on the farm, and so we usually have really late dinners, which means that we usually have a pretty good sized snack before the evening milking. And so this has been one of the kids' favorites recently. It is the classic tomato and fresh mozzarella sandwich. Yeah, that looks yummy, right? We have some fresh pesto here, tons of basil in the garden right now, so I thought I'd put that on. Some of our very first tomatoes from the garden, and then some fresh mozzarella. So super easy, but this could also definitely double as a lunch, maybe with some soup, and that would be yummy, right? Do you want to eat some? Yeah? Okay, just a fun little tip is kids love fun shaped sandwiches. So I have my little heart cookie cutter here, and I am just gonna turn these into little heart shapes just for fun. There we go. That's gonna be so cute. We'll put a little pesto on it. That smells yummy. Some cheese. If your kids don't like fresh herbs, you could definitely omit the sprinkling on top like this, but this is the idea and the kids love it. I like to think that we eat fairly healthy as a family, but recently, as one of our kids is going through a cleanse right now, we needed to make a little bit further changes. And the first place that I thought of that, oh my goodness, I should check out their prices was Thrive Market, and I'm so honored that they're sponsoring this portion of today's video. They make healthy food in a pinch really easy, which is amazing for back to school season. And even as a homeschool mom, I want all of the easy easy snacks and meals that I can get, but I don't want to compromise on them being healthy. By the way, I got these Lily's chocolate chips this time, and I love that they come in a separate bag just in case anything melts or spills, but then they actually have an ice pack in here as well, which is amazing. On the schedule for today is actually to make some more chocolate chip cookies. And thinking of the school year, whether you are packing a picnic basket to go eat outside in the fields with your kids and nature journal as you homeschool, or if you're packing school lunches, I love that there's so many options. You can categorize everything depending on your needs. So if you are low sugar or if you have certain allergies in your family, you can actually sort that. They have filters to sort all of that on the website, making it super easy to quickly find what you're looking for. I'm so excited, by the way, for this organic tomato basil sauce. These I actually got 2 bags of. They are a staple for picnics and like summer grilling. Again, would be amazing for school lunches. Now get this, they are offering their first ever month-long back to school sale where they have 25% off. Plus, if you use my link, thrivemarket.com/thisgoldenhour, and I'll also leave that for you in the description box so you can easily click it, you will get an extra 30% off plus a free gift. So incredible, incredible time to try them out for either cooking at home, back to school lunches, easy snacks. I hope that helps you out, and a huge thank you to Thrive for sponsoring this portion of today's video. Arguably, the most quintessential summer fruit is watermelon, so we had to include that today. This is actually a bit of a twist on the watermelon cake that I made a couple of videos back. We are going to cut these into fairly thick slices. The trick is going to be to try to get these even. And then we're gonna decorate them up, add a little protein, a little color, and we'll be good to go. Okay, so we wanna cut one of these in quarters. Like that. I'll do that with some more of these. Speaking of quintessential summer, Josh just came in and asked if this guy doesn't have a place in my video. You should show it up close. I don't want to touch it.
I don't want to let him go. He might fly away. You don't see them that often, but you hear them a lot.
Yeah. A little science lesson for if you have your kids watching. These guys live in the ground for 17 years before they like hatch. Crawl out, and then you probably will be hearing them in the background of my videos because they're loud, but then they'll climb up on a tree and make like a shell.
They crawl out of their shell. And
that's what's on
They leave their shell on the tree, and then they're...
and then they're like this. Okay, so they crawl out of their shell, but their shell actually looks like an exact replica. Like it looks like the skeleton of this bug. So anyway, fun fact. Now back to our food. Oh, this is so fun. I love putting stuff like this together. Colorful and fun does not have to be difficult. All of these, by the way, are super simple recipes that I'm showing you here today. But I pulled some Greek yogurt from the fridge. This is homemade. You could use store-bought as well. This is just plain. Vanilla yogurt would also be really good. And then I got a bunch of different fruit. I have some frozen blackberries, so you would want to serve these immediately after making them because obviously the blackberries will thaw out pretty soon, but I thought they would be fun. We have some peaches. I sliced a banana as well as a kiwi. And then Kyra actually just picked me a bunch of edible garnishes from the garden. So we have some mint leaves, some chamomile, and some pansies. So we're just gonna put these together. Now I ordered some popsicle sticks, but they are not here yet. So ideally it would be really fun to then, when you're serving them, actually put a popsicle stick in the end and you could just eat them like that, but this is going to work as well. And I put them on a platter here instead of my round dish because it's actually really hard to arrange watermelon single layer on a round dish, turns out. So we are gonna put these together. Okay, we're just gonna dab these a little bit to get the excess moisture on the top off so that the yogurt will stick better. But while you're watching, I would love to know what some of your favorite summer snacks are. I would love to try some of them myself and learn from you guys. Okay, that looks good. So we are just gonna put some yogurt on here and top it. By the way, if you are interested in my yogurt recipe, I actually just shared that over on Instagram. It's saved to a highlight there, so find it there. I think I am going to do one fruit variety per slice. Could also do a mixture of them, but I think this would be fun. Okay, now for the garnishes. Kind of going for different colors. So I'm gonna put yellow on the blackberries, purple on the peaches. Which one? This one? Okay, and I think that is good to go. Well, definitely one of our kids' favorite snacks ever is chocolate chip cookies, and I have a feeling that's probably the truth for more of you. So that's what we're gonna whip up next. I have my wheat berries. I get quite a bit of questions over what kind of wheat berries I use. 99.9% of the time I am using hard white wheat berries. I just find that I have the best results with that. So we are gonna mill these now and then move on with mixing the cookie dough. All right, then I think we are good to go. I am not usually super technical about mixing cookie doughs as far as dry and wet ingredients separate and all of that, but I do like to whip my butter a little bit on its own ahead of time, and then I'm literally gonna just add all the rest of my ingredients and we'll be ready to shape them. I'm gonna put in 2.5 cups of this fresh milled flour, and then a cup of raw honey, an egg, about a tablespoon of vanilla extract, a pinch of salt, and then a teaspoon of baking soda. All right, and then we'll mix this together. Okay, I added a little bit more flour. I just kind of watch the consistency of the batters and what that looks like, because this is my chocolate chip cookie recipe that I've done for years and years, but it does not call for fresh milled flour and it uses sugar instead of honey, so I'm just kind of taking all that into consideration and playing with it a little bit longer. So we did end up adding a little more flour. Okay, I think that looks about right. So now we're gonna add 2 cups of this Lily's milk chocolate chips. All right, and then we'll stir those in. In my opinion, if you want to elevate any chocolate chip cookies, add a little bit of sea salt flakes. They taste so good. So I just took these out of the oven. We're gonna sprinkle this on now, and then they'll be done. how empty it feels in here without the kids. I usually have 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 kids with me here, but they all were very excited to ride the gator with Josh while he does some things in the bean field. So another favorite in our home is homemade chips and salsa. And so I'm going to start off here with fresh salsa. This recipe is based off of a recipe that I got on All Recipes, and I can link that down below. I won't be following it to a T, but then again, when do I follow a recipe to a T? So I'm gonna start by chopping this onion. I just ran out to the garden and picked an onion, I should say, as well as some cilantro, a bell pepper. This, I think, is my very first bell pepper in the garden. We're just getting into that time of year. And then another tomato, but I will need to supplement with some tomatoes from an Amish roadside stand here as well, because I don't quite have enough from my own garden yet. But if your kids do not like salsa, I know some kids are not into onions and peppers and kind of everything that salsa is, you could totally also do a hamburger dip if you want it to be a little bit more hearty. Or I love making a cheese sauce, and that's another one of the kids' favorites. Basically what I do when I make the cheese sauce is just make like a roux with butter and a bit of flour, and then I'll add some milk and some shredded cheese, and they really, really love that as well. A little bit of salt and pepper. I think I'll do some cumin as well. That tastes so good. All those fresh summer scents. Okay, I'm gonna clean up here real quick and then we'll move on to the actual chips. Okay, for the chips, this is literally the easiest thing ever. I don't know why not more people do this, because it is so simple and tastes so much better than the store-bought. But I just grab these corn tortillas. These are store-bought. I find homemade ones fall apart really easily, and while their ingredients aren't as good maybe as homemade, they're not that bad on most brands. So I'm gonna take these, literally just take the whole stack and cut them in quarters like this, and then fry them in coconut oil. I love to put this on. It's a little scratched off, but it's the Redmond's organic seasoned salt. That adds incredible flavor. Sometimes I'll do salt, sometimes I'll do salt and nutritional yeast for a little bit more of a cheesy taste. So you can go a lot of different flavor options, but we're just gonna fry these till they're nice and brown, and that's literally all there's to it. Yeah, the seasoning salt. Okay, Kyra offered to finish frying the tortilla chips, which is a big help. So I am gonna move on to our next thing, which I wish I could actually make the whole thing for you here today, but it needs to freeze for 24 hours. So basically, we got a Ninja Creami, I don't know, a couple months ago now, and have really been enjoying making like healthier ice creams, if you will, especially through the summer. And this is one of my very favorites. It's a cottage cheese base, so very high in protein. This is what it looks like right now, which isn't much. It just basically, it looks like a frozen chunk of yogurt or something. But it is cottage cheese with cocoa powder, raw honey, peanut butter, a pinch of salt, and vanilla, I think. I'll leave the recipe for you in the description box below. But then I just freeze it First blend it. I blend it till it's smooth, and I have a Vitamix, so if you don't have as powerful of a blender, you might just need to add a little bit more milk. I do add a little bit of milk as well. I think it's 3/4 cup or something like that. So you can mess with all those ratios. I think it would still turn out pretty similar because I've not always done it the same either. But I just freeze this for about 24 hours and I'm ready to put it into the creamer, or like the base, and it just whips it right up for me. Then we're gonna actually take it, and it will be crumbly usually on the top, or not like quite smooth. And so I'll add another maybe tablespoon or so of milk, and then do I think it's called respin. And then after that, it is perfection. I have been eating this almost every single day as a snack. It is so good, and such a good like protein option as well. All right, you can see we have a nice creamy consistency now. So we're gonna scoop it out into, these are just some little yogurt cups, but we're gonna scoop it in there and it'll be ready to go. Well, it is many hours later now. We actually were just down by the pond. It is a hot day out there. So we took the kids down there a little bit. They cooled off in the water. And I am not gonna get everything done on my list, but I did wanna do one more, which is our peach smoothie. So my peaches are frozen rather hard. Let's see if I can actually get them out. There we go. We do smoothies a lot. I feel like kind of all through the year, but especially in the summer. Seasonal fruit is always a treat, and I know a lot of the recipes I've shared with you today are nothing really new, maybe some fun twists on a very common snack. I usually don't go all out and all fancy for snacks. It's more just thinking of something that's not just empty calories or a bunch of junk food. I'm trying to keep it as whole food based as we can, but it's really just a lot of very normal snacks. Obviously, smoothies can be made probably a million different ways. I normally will just take frozen fruit and then some homemade yogurt. Sometimes I'll add a little bit of milk, but I like smoothies to be quite thick, that they're almost the consistency of soft serve. When it's hot like this and in the summer, I just want like thick and cold and fruit and veggies. I have a hard time cooking hot food often when it's so hot outside. So this is literally all that I put in the smoothies. Sometimes I'll put in like a protein powder or a collagen powder, but a lot of the time this is just what I do. And you can also put in a little bit of raw honey. Sorry about that, my memory card got full. Basically, I was saying that sometimes I will put a little bit of raw honey in here, or another favorite is just to do part banana. It also just helps it to be a little bit sweeter, especially since I'm using a plain yogurt. So I'm gonna get my stomper and my lid and we'll mix this up. Okay, I tasted these and it is just a little bit tart with the yogurt. So I'm gonna drizzle a little bit of honey over top of these. And then we'll sprinkle a little bit of slivered almonds on for crunch. I also love putting granola on top, but I thought this would be a fun little crunch. Let's put some cinnamon on top too. I feel like that would go so well with the peaches. We'll do a jazzed up version. There we go. Well, that is everything that that I had time for in the kitchen making snacks today. I hope you were inspired, maybe gained some ideas. Thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to check out Thrive Market's back to school sale, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, friends.
Golden, golden thing.